Let's talk a little bit more about boundaries because boundaries, one of my favorite topics. I know for people listening, most people want them. They're hard to have, hard to get. Where do you find them? What store sells them? I'd like to know that. And what do they sound like? What do they look like? And what is the benefit?
Well, I think the benefit is pretty straightforward, which is a regulated nervous system. I think one's job as a child of the universe, is to create conditions of healing for yourself. So it's like, I see you get asked this question a lot, which is like, should I stay in the relationship? Should I go from the relationship? Listen, what would the most loving, motherist, divine person tell you? They want what's best for you. And maybe it means you stay for the miracle. Maybe you go. So boundaries are a way to create conditions for healing for yourself, self-respect, but they're developmental. They're not the end game. And they're problematic if they are generated by the ego and not from the heart, which is for creating conditions of healing. So, it's like someone can take your work, they can take Terry Cole's work, wrote a great book on boundaries, Boundary Boss. I think everybody should's great. Terry gets it. Like one of the great things about Boundary Boss, I think, is the scripting. Terry's giving people like, hey, this is how this conversation go for people who can't even imagine what self-respect is. Do it. You got to have it. You're not going to survive without boundaries. But boundaries that are from that unhealed place, that are just a pushing against, it's more division, it's more polarization, it's the boundaries that become barriers. And what I see happening in that egoic space is people walking through the world there's like two standards. All this works for me and all this does not work for me. That is divisive in its very nature. My personal experience with boundaries is they were essential. I had to get them. Learning to exercise them, there were times I thought I was annihilating this part of myself. Like I thought it was so unspiritual. It was what I needed at the time. And now that I know that, like, I don't even ask myself the question if I'm worthy or unworthy. That's ridiculous. I would never tell my child, you're worthy, unworthy of love. Like, I am love. I get to be loved and emanate love. I don't have many boundaries now. I've become the porous is not the word, but a more spacious person. Like, yeah, there are requirements. Of course. I have a team. I'm in a relationship, all those things, clean up after yourself. Because we're trying to create conditions of healing here. I need to regulate my nervous system because I am love and because I want to be of service. But you know what? If you say something shitty and disrespectful to me, I have more room for that than I used to. I don't have this character in me anymore that says you've crossed my boundaries. And I think we're running amok with boundaries. Like someone reached out, could I come to this event? And I was just like, I would love to be there, but it doesn't work for my schedule. And they're like, thank you for modeling boundaries. And I was like, bro, I just can't come. I'm booked. Like, it's not a me against you thing. It's not a self-respect thing. So I have let people treat me in ways over the last, I would say, 3 or 4 years that a lot of psychotherapists would say wasn't good boundaries. But for me, it was loving. And I felt expanded and I just thought they're unhealed and I'm okay. I can take that today. I can let them, I have space for them to act out and to not push back.